Part 18.15. Surah Al-Kahf, the Cave. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. We continue our profound journey through the majestic Surah Al-Kahf, chapter that masterfully intertwines profound narratives with universal truths. We have just witnessed the three seemingly inexplicable actions of Al-Khidr, which tested the patience and understanding of Prophet Moses. The verses we will explore today provide the profound and beautiful explanations for each of those actions, revealing the hidden wisdom behind what appeared to be unjust. This part of the surah is the culmination of the trial of knowledge, a beautiful and powerful lesson on the limits of human perception and the necessity of complete trust in Allah's all-encompassing plan. It is a moment for deep reflection, urging us to understand that what appears to be a curse on the surface may, in fact, be a profound blessing in disguise. Hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, as narrated by Suhaib. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "How wonderful is the affair of the believer, for his affair is all good. If something good happens to him, he is grateful, and that is good for him. If something bad happens to him, he is patient, and that is also good for him." Sahih Muslim Hadith 2999. This profound hadith perfectly encapsulates the immense value of the journey Moses undertakes, as it is a journey in the path of Allah, one that is rooted in humility and a profound desire to draw closer to the source of all knowledge, Allah, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Quran, Al-Kahf, the Cave, 18 to 7680. He said, "This is the separation between me and you. I will inform you of the interpretation of that with which you were not able to have patience. As for the ship, it belonged to poor people who worked on the sea, and I wanted to make it defective. For there was a king ahead of them who was seizing every sound ship by force. And as for the young man, his parents were believers, and we feared that he would overburden them with transgression and disbelief. So we intended that their Lord would give them in exchange one better than him in purity and closer to mercy. And as for the wall, it belonged to 2 orphan boys in the town, and there was a treasure for them underneath it, and their father was a righteous man. So your Lord willed that they should reach their maturity and extract their treasure as a mercy from your Lord, and I did not do it of my own accord. This is the interpretation of that with which you could not have patience." The narrative reaches its climax with Al-Khidr's final and definitive statement. Said, "This is the separation between me and you. I will inform you of the interpretation of that with which you were not able to have patience." The journey of Moses and Al-Khidr has reached its conclusion. Moses, having failed to remain silent in the face of what appeared to be injustice, has reached the limit of his patience. Al-Khidr, however, is not ending the journey in disappointment. He is about to provide the interpretation tackle, the deeper meaning and wisdom behind his seemingly unjust actions. This is the central purpose of the entire narrative, to reveal the existence of a hidden reality, a divine plan that is far more complex and compassionate than we can ever perceive with our limited senses. This moment is the culmination of the trial of knowledge, and it is a powerful lesson for all who seek spiritual clarity. The truth often lies hidden beneath the surface of what appears to be contradictory or unjust. Al-Khidr begins with the explanation for the first action, the act of making a hole in the ship. As for the ship, it belonged to poor people who worked on the sea, and I wanted to make it defective, for there was a king ahead of them who was seizing every sound ship by force. The apparent act of destruction was, in fact, an act of preservation. The hole was a form of protection. The poor people masked him who owned the ship were dependent on it for their livelihood. By making a small hole in it, Al-Khidr was ensuring that the oppressive king would not seize it. The small defect was a strategic move to save the ship from a complete loss. This is a profound and beautiful lesson. What appeared to be a grave act of injustice and destruction was, in fact, a profound act of mercy and protection. It is a powerful reminder that we, with our limited knowledge, can only see the immediate consequences of an action, while Allah's plan encompasses the full context of a situation, including the unseen future. The Sufi in his daily life internalizes this lesson and learns to be patient and trusting in the face of apparent hardship. Knowing that a deeper wisdom is at work, Al-Khidr then moves on to the second and most shocking action, the killing of the young man. And as for the young man, his parents were believers, and we feared that he would overburden them with transgression and disbelief. So we intended that their Lord would give them in exchange one better than him in purity and closer to mercy. This is perhaps the most difficult and profound lesson in the entire narrative. The young man, who appeared to be an innocent soul, was, in fact, destined to become a source of immense grief and spiritual hardship for his righteous parents. He was fated to overburden them with his transgression and disbelief. Tugin wa kufr, the act of killing him, which appeared to be an act of profound evil, was, in fact, an act of immense mercy and compassion for his parents. The phrase "we intended that their Lord would give them in exchange one better than him" reveals the ultimate wisdom behind the action. The act of taking a life was not a simple act of killing. It was an act of divine mercy, intended to protect the parents' faith and to provide them with a better, more righteous child. This is a beautiful and chilling example of the reality of Qadar, divine decree, and the wisdom of Allah's plan. Our minds, which are limited by time and space, cannot comprehend such a profound act of preemptive mercy. The Sufi understands that in the grand tapestry of creation, every event, no matter how tragic it may appear, is part of a divine plan that is rooted in perfect justice and wisdom. Finally, Al-Khidr explains the third and final action, the rebuilding of the collapsing wall. And as for the wall, it belonged to 2 orphan boys in the town, and there was a treasure for them underneath it, and their father was a righteous man. So your Lord willed that they should reach their maturity and extract their treasure as a mercy from your Lord. And I did not do it of my own accord. The apparent act of kindness to an inhospitable people was, in fact, an act of profound mercy for 2 orphans. The wall was not just a wall, it was a protective shield for a treasure kanzan that belonged to the orphans. Their righteous father had left them this treasure, and Allah, in his immense mercy, willed that it should be protected until the orphans were old enough to claim it. Al-Khidr's action was a direct command from Allah, not a personal decision. The final phrase, "and I did not do it of my own accord," is the most important statement of the entire narrative. It reveals that Al-Khidr was not acting on his own whims or his own understanding. He was acting on a direct command from Allah. This is the ultimate lesson of the story. All of Allah's actions, even those that appear strange or unjust, are rooted in a divine wisdom and a profound mercy. The story concludes with a final and powerful statement from Al-Khidr. This is the interpretation of that with which you could not have patience. The word interpretation tackle is repeated, emphasizing that the events themselves were not the final reality. The true reality was the wisdom behind them. Moses, with his vast knowledge of the divine law, could not comprehend the hidden wisdom behind the actions, because he was judging them by their apparent reality. Al-Khidr, with his direct knowledge from Allah, was able to see the full picture. The story is a profound and timeless lesson on the conflict between Zahir, the outer, apparent reality, and the batin, the inner, hidden reality. It is a call to a deeper, more profound form of faith, one that is rooted in trust and surrender to the all-encompassing wisdom of Allah. The Sufi understands that the path of spiritual enlightenment is a journey of letting go of one's own preconceived notions and trusting in the divine plan, knowing that Allah's wisdom is absolute and His mercy is perfect. This section of Surah Al-Kahf provides a beautiful and profound conclusion to the trials of Moses and Al-Khidr. It is a powerful reminder that our perception is limited, and our judgment is flawed, and that we must have complete faith in the divine plan, even when it seems to defy our own logic. It is a story that has resonated with seekers for centuries, a timeless reminder that what we see with our eyes is not always the full story, and that the only true security and peace come from surrendering to the all-encompassing wisdom of the divine. It is a call to a deeper, more profound form of faith, one that is rooted in trust and surrender to the all-encompassing wisdom of Allah. The Sufi, in his quest for spiritual enlightenment, knows that his path is a constant struggle against the self and a continuous journey of learning. Knowing that true freedom lies in this submission, and that true spiritual growth comes from recognizing the signs of Allah in every aspect of creation and in every moment of his life. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, O Ar-Rahman, O Ar-Rahim, you are the source of all knowledge, and your wisdom is beyond our comprehension. We seek refuge in you from the arrogance of ignorance and the blindness of our own perceptions. Grant us the humility to seek knowledge from its true source and the patience to understand that we may not comprehend your plan. Open our hearts to your signs, no matter how small or hidden they may be, and grant us the integrity to admit our shortcomings. Make us of those who retrace their steps when they have lost their way, and lead us to a deeper understanding of the inner realities of all things. Grant us a heart that is completely reliant on you, and a soul that is forever content with your decree. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim.